want to tell you something, share a little story with you. I saw a movie last night that really inspired me and made me want to make this video. If you've ever dealt with an angry parent, either a mother or your father, or even if it wasn't your mother or a father, someone that took care of you growing up, if you dealt with someone that was alcoholic or depressed or verbally abusive or physically abusive, and you had a rough time growing up with them, then this is gonna, hopefully this will help you. You know, I myself dealt with an alcoholic dad. He cared more about himself, about his drinking, about partying, going out with friends, spending time with his cars and other toys that he had, his electronics, and he just really cared more about himself than he cared about his own wife, his kid, anything. And that wasn't the only time that I grew up with someone that was kind of abusive. I went through living with different people, multiple people in my life, that either was verbally abusive or had some kind of an issue. So it wasn't really that easy growing up in life situations like that. You grow up wanting to be cared for, wanting to be loved, and that's all you seek. You seek that affection, and people who have these issues that take care of you, sometimes they're just not able to give you that affection or love that you need as a child. So what happens is that you grow up always wanting that, always needing that, and when you don't get it, that becomes anger, that becomes resentment, that becomes depression, anxiety, all these weird emotions just build up in you. And that affects you as you grow up and you become an adult, even as a child. Even as a child, you know, you're not even in your teenager years, it still affected you by that time. But really, it starts affecting you so much more as you get into like the teenager years, your adulthood, and you start seeing those patterns of the neglect that you have got and that care that you wanted that you never got. It starts showing up in your life. And you start realizing that, you know, the way you feel about people, the way you think about people, your relationships, you know, if you're going out with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you know, sometimes you feel like that either you become over needy or very oppressant to where, you know, you can't even say I love you as much. You know, all these mixed emotions can come into your life. And it all is just built up from the childhood, the way you were raised. So I encourage you, if you had issues growing up with your dad, with your mom, or whoever took care of you, you need to start going back and you need to start finding out some of the reasons behind why they acted that way. Because 9 out of 10 times, the people who you grow up with and they're acting like that, later on, they're ashamed of it. They feel guilty about it. And if they don't, it's because they are hurting some way or another from their past. And the reason I tell you this is that I want you to understand that not everything is meant to hurt you. Just because you grow up in a situation like that, it doesn't mean that that person was really trying to hurt you. They might be hurting themselves and they just don't know how to take care of you. They don't know how to give you love. Remember, you could have been in a part of your life because of all that you couldn't give the correct love. You ever think about why? Well, think about, when you think about that, if that has ever happened to you, then think about what happened to the people who are taking care of you. So my message for you is that if you grow up in a situation like that, you need to find out the reasons behind why and trying to make amends. But the most important thing you need to do is you need to forgive. Because if you cannot forgive those people that took care of you growing up, then you have this weight on your shoulder. You have this weight on your shoulder that is just wearing you down unconsciously. You might think you're okay. You might think you're healed and, oh yeah, I don't care. I don't give a shit about any of this stuff. Act like the tough guy or a tough gal. But deep down inside, I'm telling you, you're going to be hurting. You have to be able to find out those reasons. You have to be able to forgive. The most important thing is forgive. Even if you don't find out the reasons behind why, because some of those people in your life might be passed away. You might never get that answer. You might never get the answer you're looking for. But as long as you forgive, then you can start moving on. I love you. I hope this message helps you out.